the company had a growth of just 2.5%. Q2 has been a negative growth. For Q3, you're working with a 1%, odd growth on the top line, which means you've set up the year for another 5-6% kind of a growth here, and that is not going to go down very well.
Dreamer, so
we have Sarabjit Kour Nangra as well. If Angel, we've got Nisha, we've got Sarabjit Kour Nangra as well. So let me just toss the question over to you. Hi Sarabjit, how have you read the earnings and your expected stock reaction tomorrow?
See, earning, as you rightly summarized, it is in terms of dollar definitely lower than expected, but in terms of margin and all, they have done exceedingly well, which seems to be coming from their productivity gains. So that's a nice thing. But Wipro has been disappointing in terms of growth for a pretty long time. And I guess with them doing right acquisitions and probably if they consolidate and move into next year with a better growth as well as margin profile, I think that will do wonders for the company. But as far as stock is concerned, I think it's already 14 times trailing. So I think there is very little room for the stock to actually correct from here on. And everybody is discounted that it's a value stock, but everybody's waiting for the execution to come, especially on the top line. So I guess that's missing. Productivity, they're catching up. Probably next year should be a growth year, I guess. I hope that it turns out for them if energy domain turns in and the acquisitions do contribute in terms of growth also in a way as anticipated, because these acquisitions, as you rightly pointed out, are a decent acquisitions which will help them de-risk their business model and also provide them growth, because these are in growth regions. So it's imperative that these result in growth numbers. Apart from that, I think productivity and all other parameter and metrics they have done pretty well. So I guess that's something I need to hear. How this year is almost, I think, with the guidance that they've given is gone by now. So I think if they can throw a light in terms of how they see their these acquisition panning out for the next year, I think that will give some clarity. And obviously they're in non-organic initiative in terms of growth. That's something which is lacking the boost. I think productivity was their first agenda, which is coming online. Second should be growth. I think if not this year, at least next year they work on it. And stock valuations wise, I don't think there should be a downside actually.
All right, so that's the view coming in from Sarabjit. Let's take another expert on this particular bit. Moshe Khatri, the MD at Wedbush Securities, is on the line from New York. Moshe, very good to have you on the show. What do you make of the numbers of Wipro? Are you disappointed, and how do you also see the stock reaction? A lot of analysts here feel that the worst could be over as far as the stock is concerned because it has corrected a lot.
I would say the constant currency growth came in a bit better than expected. The margins looked better. The disappointment is really going to be the guidance. And Wipro's problems are not unusual for the space, as you know. And we continue to feel that there's a combination of structural and cyclical issues that's impacting the entire sector. Wipro has been kind of stuck in this vicious cycle of lackluster growth, and I think that continues to be the case. I don't know if we're done with that. I think it's just going to be a work in progress. Maybe Aperio is going to help them, maybe not. Aperio, as a privately held company, had two separate businesses. One was successful, one was still a concept story. So I think they're taking a big bet on that. We're just going to have to wait and see, but at this point, the guidance is disappointing.
Okay, some more internals. The $100 million client bracket has come down from 9 clients in Q1 to 8 clients. So the client mining continues to remain a problem for Wipro. Secondly, the contribution of their top 5 clients. They contributed 10.3% to the overall revenues in Q2. That has come down to 10.1%, which means we've seen negative growth in the top 5 clients. Again, it's just an indicator that client mining continues to remain a concern for the company. I've got some more details about the dollar revenue growth. The verticals those which have underperformed. Remember, for the company, the dollar revenue growth is at minus 0.8%. Communications has underperformed, minus 1.4%. Energy, natural resources and utilities has declined, I think, for the 8th straight quarter at minus 3.5%. Finance has declined by minus 1.2%, and manufacturing has declined by minus 1.3%. You know, the only vertical which has actually given you a positive growth in this quarter in dollar terms is healthcare, life sciences and services, which basically tells you that growth this quarter has been fully led by the healthcare vertical. So that is a bit worrying because it's not a broad-based performance that we've seen. With respect to geographies, Europe has seen a huge decline. So Europe has declined by nearly 0.6% on a quarter-on-quarter basis in dollar terms. India and Middle East has once again seen a decline of 1.1%. Remember, India and Middle East was weak even before, and this quarter too remains weak. So it's one, client mining has been a bit disappointing. Secondly, growth has purely been led by healthcare, life sciences and services. What has led to the margin improvement is the fact that the companies managed to improve their utilization. So their net utilization has gone up from 79.7% to 82.2%. These are some internals that we work with. Moshe, what would be your full year dollar revenue and constant currency growth estimates for Wipro for FY17? And, you know, they've said that Aperio is expected to close in Q3, but they're not accounting for that in guidance. Do you think they will be able to extract all the synergies from Aperio?
Aperio, as I understood, was not a very profitable piece of business. So I'm speculating the impact's going to be either neutral to slightly negative on profitability. So that's number one. In terms of growth, obviously the industry is going to subpar growth. NASCOM is talking about, I think, 10 to 12%. I'm assuming the numbers are going to be somewhere in the high single digits for the entire universe right now.
Okay, and for Wipro in particular, I didn't quite get the number. Moshe, for Wipro per se, what would be your dollar revenue growth estimates for Wipro for the full year?
About 7 to 8%.
7 to 8%. Okay. Prakash, one quick final word. Anything more from the internals which stands out? The press is just about to start.
So, Rima, as I said, the advantage over the other players that now I can see is that there's no wage hike for at least the next 9 to 12 months for Wipro. Most of it has been penciled in, and that's one of the reasons why the stock has been probably 10-11% down this year because of the kind of tailwinds we had. So, you know, give and take whatever the internals are saying, my sense is that we are probably only getting better from here. And I think the Aperio, along with the other two acquisitions of Digital IT and that HPS, will also start kicking in sometime in the second 2 quarters. So I wouldn't see too much of a disappointment beyond, as I said, that 12.5, 13 times multiple that the street might want to give. But then I think the market will be a bit more charitable given these numbers.
It's already at that 13 times F5 18 PE, right? So you don't expect more valuation derating from here on.
That's right. That's right. That's what I'm trying to bring about, that the damage has already been done, penciled in. There are no surprises in terms of the negativity that you could have, you know, going forward, except for, you know, currency headwinds, which everybody is going to face equally and not necessarily only the stock.
And your expectation of the stock performance on Monday, or just for the near term? You know, it'll be a while till all the benefits from these acquisitions kick in. So for the near term, based on this? So
based on HCL Tech's numbers and what Tech Mahindra is kind of promising or seeming to respond with, my sense is Wipro will be sideways for the next 3 to 4 months. Nobody is going to get very interested till you...
Scenario review of the IT services industry and an update as I give every quarter on the execution of our strategic themes. We delivered revenue growth in constant currency at 0.9%, closer to the top end of our guidance. IT services margin was also maintained flat on a sequential basis at 17.8%.